Hello, third graders. It is Mr. White here, and we are ready to take a look at lesson 1.4 today. Today, we're going to talk about rounding numbers, okay? And as we go through this, I'm going to show you a method that you can use to round numbers. So this goes with the objective. I will be able to round numbers to the nearest 10 and 100 using a number line. This is going to be our strategy today, this number line strategy. There's other ways to round numbers as well, but we're going to learn this number line strategy. And you can see it goes with our rounding standard. Okay, so we're going to use number lines to round. When we're rounding, we're using numbers that are the closest multiple of 10 or 100. That's what rounding is called. And we use rounding when we're finding estimates. Okay, and when I say estimate, I mean trying to figure out what an answer is going to be close to. And you and your parents use estimating sometimes, right? When you're just trying to judge, like, oh, this room is about this long, or I need to have about this much money. Those are estimates, right? Not the exact answer, but estimates. And rounding is important when you are rounding is important when you're making estimates. You've probably done some rounding a little bit in second grade, and we're going to build on that today. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Here's the first question. The first question says to round 54 to the nearest 10. So we're going to be rounding this number. So if I think about 54, and if I think about what are the multiples of 10 that are around 54, right? When I count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Well, 54 would be in between 50 and 60. So I'm going to put 50 right here and 60 over here. Right? 54, I know that is between 50 and 60. Now, what would be right in the middle between those two numbers? Right in the middle, right between here. Well, right in the middle between those, right, half of 10, these numbers, the difference is 10. They're 10 away. Half of that is 5. So halfway between 50 and 60 is 55. So now I look at my number here. Where would that 54 go? Well, it's 54 more than 55. Should it go over here? No. 54 would be about right there. And I put that on the number line like this. And so now to answer the question, is this 54, is it closer to 50 or is it closer to 60? It is closer to 50. So my answer for this question, the answer is 50. When I round 54 to the nearest 10, I get an answer of 50. All right, let's look at another one here. Now we're going to do a number up in the hundreds, but we're going to round it to the nearest 10 again. Okay, so we've got our number line. And if I was counting by tens, right, 90, 100, then I would keep going. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180. So of the numbers that I said there, 168, right, if I think about the 68, that would be between 160 and 170. So if you want to, for just a moment, you can ignore the 1 and think, okay, so 68, well, that would be between 60 and 70. Now, don't ignore the 1 forever because, of course, that's very important. So this number is going to be between 160 and 170. All right, well, it would be halfway between those. Well, just like on this one, right? We had 50 on one side, 60 on the other, so 55 was in the middle. What about this one? What do you think? What would be halfway between 160 and 170? Take a moment, think, what should go right here? All right, let's see what we would put. Well, we know we're just going to keep that 1 in the hundreds spot, right? That's definitely going to be there. But what would halfway between 60 and 70 be? It would be 65. So this number in the middle is 165. Now I'm going to put 168 on this number line. Let's see, what do you think? Should it go right here? No, it doesn't go there, right? Because 168 is more than 165. It's almost 170, but not quite. So 168 is going to go right here. And then to get my answer, right? Which is it closer to? Is it closer to this 160 or is it closer to this 170? And the answer is it's closer to 170. So my answer, what I would write down is 170. All right, let's go into the hundreds place here. What if we had something and we're going to round it to the hundreds place? Okay, all we did so far was round to the tens place. So now we're going to think about the hundreds. We have 325. So if I was counting by 100s, what would I say? Let's see. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, and so on. And so my number that I have here, 325, that would be more than 300, but less than 400, right? 325 is in between these two numbers on a number line. Now, what would be in the middle? Now, be careful because some people will write this, 305. But that's not correct. And the reason it's not correct is that between the difference between 300 and 400, those are 100 apart, right? 100 is the difference between these two numbers. Half of 100 is not 5. What's half of 100? Did you say 50? If you did, you're right. And so 350 goes here. All right. Now, where do you think this goes? 325. Is that going to be less than 350 or more than 350? What do you think? 325 would be right about here because it is smaller than 350. So what's our answer? Let's look. What's our answer? Is 325, is it closer to this one or to this one? It is closer to 300. So that is our answer, 300, because we rounded to the nearest 100, the 100 spot on this one. All right, let's look at just a couple of more. What do we do? What do we do when there's no number line? What do we do? Well, we draw one. Boop. And we know we're going to have a number here and here and here. So using a notebook or a separate sheet of paper will really help you. Let's look at, oh, how about this one here? This 321. Actually, I'm going to save that one. Let's look at 72. So counting by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, which of those numbers did I say? 72, it would be more than 70, less than 80. All right, you tell me what's going to go in this middle. 75 goes in the middle. And where's the 72 going to go? Well, it's less than 75. So it's going to go right here, 72. So what's our answer? Is our number closer to 70 or 80? It is closer to 70, right? It's right over there by that. All right, let's see if I've got one more I do. That is rounding to the nearest 100. Well, let's do this big one down here, okay? Rounding to the nearest 100. So this is a little bit of a challenge, but that's okay because it's good to have a challenge. If there's not a number line, we draw it. We're going to have a number here and in the middle. So if I was counting by 100s, oh my goodness, and I have to get up to this number. All right, let me try it. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. What do I do now? 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, 1,600. So I heard my numbers, right? This number that I have here is more than 1,500. I know this one's a little harder. And less than 1,600. Halfway, right? Like we talked about, halfway between 100 is 50. So 1,550. Where's this one going to go? It's going to go right here. 1,512. And so what's my answer here? This number, this x, is closer to 1,500. All right. There's our objective that we are working on today. This is Math Journal page 6, right? And it goes with lesson 1.4, and you can see that it looks like what we've been doing. You'll get a chance to practice that. Here's the number lines that you have, and then at the bottom, oh, there's the bottom, right? At the bottom, you are going to sketch your number lines, right? So scrap piece of paper or your math notebook would be best actually to sketch those number lines so that you can solve the answers here. This one you're rounding to the tens place, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, those numbers. This one you're rounding to the nearest hundreds place, right? 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on. All right, that is all for today. Be sure to reach out to me if you need any help, and good luck.